Hi, welcome to this episode of The Daily. My name is Brendan Malone. Well, last week something really bizarre happened. Over a space of a couple of days, President Obama made two threats, one more veiled and one a very explicit threat against two sovereign nations. Now, let me give the context because the context is important here. The first threat was very explicit, and to be fair, it was in response to a threat that nation had made against America a couple of weeks ago, and that was the nation of North Korea. Now, North Korea have developed a new missile that they can fire from a submarine, which means that they now have the potential ability, if this is true what they're claiming, because no one's actually seen this missile and knows for certain it exists, but if it's true what they're claiming, they could put it on a submarine potentially and float it over to towards the American coast and then launch this missile with a nuclear warhead at America. And so obviously America rightly should be concerned about this fact if it is true. But President Obama's response was to explicitly state, and he did this in a press conference, that if they did fire on the American coast, then America would respond with its arsenal and they would wipe North Korea off the map. Yes, that's literally what he said. I'm not exaggerating. He said that America would respond by wiping North Korea off the map. So here's the President of the United States saying that they would kill millions of innocent men, women and children in response to some tin pot dictatorship firing a nuclear missile at them. And I think, first of all, we all should be concerned about that kind of saber rattling because it's not good for the world when you have leaders making those kind of threats, and it's certainly not moral to suggest that you would wipe out an entire nation of people regardless of the circumstances, that you would wipe out an entire nation of innocent men, women and children. That doesn't actually make you a courageous or good leader. That makes you a barbarian, okay, that people should fear and be afraid of. Now, I understand that probably some intelligence analysts in the back room somewhere have said to him, well, you know, maybe because North Korea have made this threat to fire a missile at us, that what you should do is come out really strongly and you should make a threat that you will wipe North Korea off the map if they do that, and then that way, if there's any generals in the ranks in North Korea who are not so supportive of the new regime, if he did try and do something like this, then they would be more likely perhaps to mount a coup or to rebel and not do this because they would know there was a very real threat against them and their families, and then no, because no one wants to be wiped out, right? And so you can sort of understand that perhaps there was some sort of reasoning like that going on here. But still, despite that, I think this is a really, really bad way of doing diplomacy. And effectively, especially when you think about the fact that North Korea is a country that is driven and maintains a hold over its innocent people with extreme propaganda. And a big part of that propaganda is the claim that the West, and America in particular, wants to come invade and kill them and eat their babies. What they tell them about America is really, really horrific stuff. So what Obama has effectively done is he has just handed a soundbite to North Korea, and he has said that they can use and say, okay, look, here's proof. Here he is saying that he will wipe us off the map. And it just reinforces the regime and actually is beneficial to the regime. It doesn't actually help America's cause that much at all. The other nation that he threatened, which was more of a veiled threat, was England. And they are talking, currently in the UK, there's a debate going on, and there's going to be a vote happening about whether or not they should pull out of the European Union. And Obama basically said, this was within a day or so of making the other threat against North Korea, that basically if they did that, then their trading situation with America would be weakened. It would take 5 to 10 years before they could get around to sort of mounting and engaging in a proper trade agreement with these. Effectively threatened their trading relationship, their trading partnership, if they pull out of the EU. Now, to me, this is quite astounding because here you have America threatening two sovereign nations. Now, let's put North Korea out of the picture for a second because it's a response to obviously a threat that's been made against America. But here you have a sovereign nation, the United Kingdom, which is being threatened by America. If they don't do what Obama wants them to do, if they don't stay in the EU, then they will undermine, or they will not give them trading priority. That will threaten their trading arrangement with them, and America basically doesn't support that move, so it won't be rushing to fix any sort of trade issues that might result as a free, independent decision of a sovereign nation to actually make a decision about whether or not they're going to be in the EU or not, which to me is just absolutely astounding. Why I find this so astounding is here you have a left-wing democratic president in the modern era from America who is threatening a sovereign nation. He is threatening He's effectively doing what England was doing to America several hundred years ago, which led to the War of Independence, and where America said, no, we're not going to be under this yoke of tyranny. We're going to make it and set our own destiny. We're going to choose our own path. And here's America now. The tables are completely turned. You've got a Democrat, left-leaning, progressive president, and he is all of those things, who runs a secret drone assassination program, where 9 out of the 10 victims that are killed by those drone attacks are innocent civilians. They just happen to be collateral damage. He is a guy who is threatening to wipe another nation completely off the map, to wipe out an entire nation of innocent men, women and children, to wipe them off the map with nuclear weapons. And he has also threatened the trade relationship between one of his key major allies. I look at this and I think this is just astounding to me, especially when you look at the history of America, where before Pearl Harbor happened, even after World War II had started and was raging in Europe, there was a lot of Americans, a large number of Americans did not want America to get involved in the war, because they didn't see themselves as the moral policemen of the world. They didn't see themselves as the military overseers of the world. They didn't believe in this sort of interventionist thing. It was very much not the American way. But after World War II, that all changed. And now we're at this point, as I said, we've got a progressive Democrat president who is threatening sovereign nations if they don't do what he asks them. The tables have completely flipped. Effectively, America is acting like an empire now, which wishes to impose its edicts on the rest of the world. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily.